Hello and welcome to Channel Hope Podcast, where we share stories each fortnight to inspire and help people channel hope through life's challenges. I'm your host, Rata Campbell. In this episode, we speak with Faafiu Toohill, owner and head coach of Byron Boxing in Papamoa, New Zealand. Few discusses his struggles as a late teen with depression and gaining a criminal record, and how the sport of boxing became pivotal in turning his life around. Living and teaching the values of self-discipline, self-respect and perseverance, particularly with youth, all while fostering a sense of belonging for his gym community. Faafiu's story is one of resilience and hope, discovering our purpose and choosing to live in it each day. My guest today is someone that we just really love in our household. Well, actually, I was going to say, we call you Uncle Few. Middle name Byron, hence the name Byron Boxing. Welcome to Channel Hope Podcast.
Thank you so much, Dustin. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I've been wanting to talk to you for quite some time. Like, we've spoken on many occasions about, the profound impact that boxing has had on your life and the lives of others. If you could, just introduce yourself and how you got into the sport.
Yeah, my name is Faafiu Byron Toohill. I'm 37 now, years young. I'm from Samoa, born in Samoa. Came to New Zealand when I was 5 years old. Grew up mostly in South Auckland. Mum and dad moved over to Australia for a little while. Had a little stint in Australia, but I spent most of my childhood, adolescence, and all of my adult life here in New Zealand. And boxing came to me late. I didn't find boxing. Boxing found me at the age of 27. So just 10 years ago, which is pretty crazy. And it's definitely changed my life for the better. I'm just eternally grateful because my life hasn't all been the way it is now. I feel like for some strange reason, number 17 years old, something happened to me that was quite pivotal. 10 years later, I got into boxing, and 10 years on, I'm talking to you right now.
So growing in South Auckland, whereabouts in South Auckland, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, I'm from Mangele, or how we say in Samoa. Yeah, I'm from the 275 and always will represent where I grew up. You're a product of your environment, good and bad. No matter how far in life I get or how far I want to get in life, I know where I'm from, and I'm always gonna represent that because it made me who I am, and that's just the way it is.
Mangere, it's incredibly multicultural, really diverse. People hold on to their culture, and that's what you should do. 27 is quite, from a sporting perspective, and a much older age to get into a sport and to pursue it to the extent that you did. What happened in your earlier life and at the age of 17 that was quite formative for you?
Yeah, 17 years old. I was charged with I was charged with some pretty heinous crimes. And flipped my world upside down, and more so the lives of my family. And got convicted for a lighter sentence. It still impacts me to this day. The criminal record that I do have. The good Lord blessed me with some skills, and my parents definitely molded and guided me to have not only sporting prowess, but also I was quite an academic. I had all these aspirations. I was like doing really well in sports and really well in school. I lacked a lot of confidence. I was a very shy kid growing up, which people find it hard to believe now. I can't stop talking now. And I say it's because I'm just trying to make up for lost time. So I'm 17 years old, heading into the end of year 12 or form 6.
Yes.
I was arrested along with my 2 cousins, and everything changed. And then the next year, I dropped out of school first term. It just got a bit too much. I felt like I had to pay my parents back and my family for the pain and the heartache I put them through. So I started working. I thought that if I worked hard and I gave them money, it would be a sign of how much I loved them, and I guess to say sorry. So I put everything on the back burner. I gave up sports and I worked in the tunnels because it was the only job that would really accept me. And
What's the tunnels, if you don't mind me asking?
so underground, and in the tunneling industry, there's all sorts of tunneling. So there's TBMs, where like tunnel boring machines,
Yes.
big massive underground factories, and they're just building away this tunnel like for storage or
Like utility lines, water,
yep,
power.
storage, power. The last tunnel that I was on was the Waterview tunnel, the road tunnel in Auckland.
Yes.
That was my last project. I was doing that for almost 9 years, from 17 to almost the age of 26. That's as far as I could see my life was going. I didn't love it or anything. I hold steadfast to the idea that I had to pay my family back for the pain that I put them through.
I mean, that's an incredible story in itself. You know, and not many people that find themselves in that kind of trouble do something to atone for that, or to, you know, to show my family that I respect and love them, and this is my way of doing it. Did you find at some point that you do need to turn back inward and take
Mm.
care of yourself to some extent?
100%, 100%. At an early age, especially around that 16, 17 years old, um, depression hit me really hard, something I didn't know anything about. Hit me like a ton of bricks, and I didn't know how to to gather myself. I didn't find that self-belief within myself. I didn't believe in who I was, and I was afraid of everyone else's ideas of how I should be. And like eventually I got sick of like not being able to fulfill my potential. I just knew within my heart, I knew that I came on this earth for a greater purpose. And I truly believe that having depression and being diagnosed with depression, like that made things a lot hard too, because I knew I had a better purpose in this earth. I just didn't know how to navigate that. I literally walked out of Waterview Tunnel. I grabbed my bag one morning, and it wasn't even the first smoker break. I told the boys I'm going home, and they looked at me shocked. They thought I was having a laugh. I'll never forget it. And that was my statement that I took my bag and I walked out, never to return. I had some things that I knew that I could, or that I wanted to at least try. And
Yes.
boxing was something I'd never done prior. I just thought, man, I just want to give it a go and see what happens, like, it's been pretty crazy since.
Yeah, so what was the inspiration for you to head to boxing? Is it just something that you've always watched, or did you have particular fighters that you followed or looked up to?
Obviously, being from Mangere, David Tua, being a Samoan family from Mangere, I remember watching his fights, like all gathering around my grandparents, my parents, my cousins and aunties, and being around the TV and watching his fights. And when he went all the way to fight for the world title, although he didn't win, I remember the parade when he came back. I remember going to it, and I had my David Tua t-shirt on, and just seeing him go past. I still remember it to this day, because I would have only been, I don't know, not even 10 years old, I don't think. And it really stuck out to me, because I thought, man, this guy looks like me. Yeah, he's from where I'm from. Fighting comes kind of naturally to us, but I thought, man, I want to actually do some fight training and do some boxing and see what happens.
Like 100% can understand him being your role model. He fought at the Olympics too, did he? Did
Yeah,
he not?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like talking about believing in destiny and all that. My first official boxing bout was on David Tua's show. He has a Fight for Cancer show, and it
Yes.
was at the Manhattan in Mount
Oh, Mount
Roskill.
Roskill there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know that one. He was there, um, and man, just to go into it further, which is why I know that God put me here for this purpose.
Mm.
Muhammad Ali passed away that same day, just hours before my coach came to pick me up. Breaking news. You can imagine all the nerves and anxiety that I had, and I'm an emotional person anyway, but that came on, and I just burst into tears. I just couldn't believe, like, man, out of all days, and not that I was a huge Muhammad Ali fan, but I understood the importance he had on not just boxing, but just sport and culture.
Yeah.
Um,
Human
and
rights, you
yeah,
know,
100%.
civil rights around that
Civil rights.
time.
Yeah, 100%. So, and then yeah, so that was my introduction into fighting. The stars kind of aligned. That was the first of 13 fights. I wish I could still fight now, but yeah, that was the first of 13 fights I've had so far.
We were just having this conversation before we jumped on here, but you know, amateur boxing is as good as professional boxing. Like the level of
100%.
skill that people demonstrate in the amateur boxing realm is incredible. A career as an amateur boxer there, 13 fights.
Yeah, that's the one.
Manhattan, what a place to start.
Crazy, right? Crazy.
I've been there for other events, never a
Functions in
box.
that?
Yeah, functions
Yeah.
with the classic chocolate log or whatever it is. That's, you know,
Yeah.
the thing that they do there. Pretty cool. Thank you for sharing. That's a lot. It's quite heavy stuff to talk about. You've been so open and honest about these things that have gone on in your life and what led you to where you are now. And I really identify with that. My family has been through similar struggles. So I really understand where you're coming from. And I think that's what makes it so special, what you've been offering and what you continue to offer here in our hometown at your boxing gym. It's such a neat space. It's a safe space. I want to talk about this too, because our son, he's been through a lot, and my husband he loves boxing, and it's just something that I knew that if we had a son, that they'd be doing this together. There was no doubt about it. Our son not only went through a cancer journey, as you're aware of, we found out during that process that he is indeed on the spectrum and most likely, ADHD. It just made it difficult for him to concentrate and to form social relationships. Uncle Few, you've been very influential on our son. What do you enjoy most about the people that you work with in your gym, and what do you think is so special about the sport of boxing for young people especially?
Yeah, no, I'm a big believer that that boxing doesn't discriminate. Hey, I'm a ex-felon, and I've lived a certain life, but I'm no different to the next person. And I believe that when we all treat each other like humans, we can enjoy each other and teach each other and learn from one another. So I guess it's my way to pay it forward. I've constantly learning. Once upon a time I had a very small mind. It was just because of the way I was from and the people that I was around. It was nothing against them. It was that's just life. But super grateful that I had opportunities to go outside and talk to other people and broaden my perspective. And it really taught me that, like we're all the same. We all have our own issues, and my heart is just as hard as your heart. It's just yours to hold, and this is mine to hold, and this is my story, and I can't change it. And
Yes.
you have yours too, and when we can understand and appreciate that, I think it makes us for better humans. I have a very special person in my life. My dad, he never gave up on me. I don't want to give up on anyone. I want to give everyone a shot. Just like he gave me. When someone believes in you, it helps you believe in yourself.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
especially with the kids and the youth, I think that's more important because the youth is our future. We need to give them opportunity. We need to teach them and mold them and give them some discipline. And um, they're much smarter than I think some people think they are. And if you just give them time and you give them care and you show them that that you believe in them, man, they can go really far. I mean, it happened for me, and if I can do it for young kids and the youth, that some good will come from that. I only hope.
It definitely does. Like, we can only speak from our own experience, and we've passed that on to others, and encourage them to send their children or their teenagers, especially, if they're struggling in some way, be it, academically at school or socially, because they may be built a bit differently and think a bit differently, like our son. We absolutely recommend to go see you and give it a try at least, because it's been such a blessing for our boy. When people think about discipline, they think, punitive, being punished in some way, but it's not at all. Would you
Mm.
agree that the discipline side is something that young people actually are quite responsive to?
Yeah, nah, big time, big time. I'm real big on that. Our kids and youth programs, the
Mm.
biggest part to me is um is what I teach them off camera to be respectful of one another. That comes with a discipline to be respectful, to look after our space, also to look after one another. Those are the most important values that we all are trying to uphold, but also that we can instill in others, and especially our kids and youth. I'm massive on that because man, I'm super blessed that I'm in the position that I am in now. I take that responsibility to heart. I make sure that every day I'm consistent. I'm not always their friend. I'm the one that puts the boundaries in to make sure that they understand, hey, I want you to be a good human. If you don't know what that looks like, I'm going to show you, or at least do my very best. The big one, especially, I guess, is respecting yourself first and then
Yes.
respecting those around you. A lot of our issues, in my opinion, stem from that
Oh,
self-respect, and also,
totally agree.
that comes with the bullying, social media, and in the world we live in now. I always believe in human interaction and face to face. If I can be present with them and I remember their names and I remember what they do, I know that it does mean a lot.
It does. Oh, no, it really does. I mean, I know I don't show up as much as I should.
Mm.
The thing that I that I took away too when I've come to your classes is that, like you say, that basic respect, acknowledgement of the other people that you're sharing that space with, just the little subtle punches, fist bumps as you're finishing up each activity or each round. They're actually more powerful, more meaningful than you realize, to feel like you're accepted and that you're part of that group and you belong. And believe me, someone like me entering into a boxing gym really appreciates that. So I can only imagine the kind of way that would make a young person who's still finding their way in the world feel. And it is those little things, isn't it? Now, just thinking about the crossover from fighting to coaching, they're very different disciplines. At what point did you decide that was the route you wanted to go down, and what was the most the prizing aspect about making that crossover?
So when I got into fighting, pretty blessed because I've been training my whole life. I did a PT course. I started my coaching career or trainer career in a boxing gym very
Yes.
early on. After my second fight, I was working at a boxing gym.
As you were learning yourself, you were
Yeah.
learning from both angles at the same time?
100%. I guess
Oh,
that
wow.
whole I was just learning on the job. I remember I went for my interview at a gym up in Auckland, a prominent gym, boxing alley. The owner, Mike, said to me, "Oh man, can you start this week?" Like real quietly, I was like, "Oh man, I can't." And he's like, "Oh, why is that?" And I said, "I'm fighting this week, and but I can start next week if that's all right." And he just laughed and he said, "Oh mate, that's totally fine. Just focus on your fight and go win your fight." I messaged them back the next week on Monday and I asked them if it was all good, if I could still take the class. And all he wanted to know was how the fight go. I won by second round stoppage and I thought, I just hope I still got the job. To be a fighter, you have to be selfish. And to be a coach, you have to be selfless. Even though I coached a lot of people to get for their first couple of fights and whatnot, I just never wanted to identify myself as a coach first. It was more just a trainer. The big transition was when I moved here to Papamoa. So that was just over 5 years ago now.
Yes.
And I'd stopped fighting because obviously I left the fight scene that I was a part of. And yeah, getting a bit older and thinking about my career path and obviously opening a gym kind of cemented moving into that next phase into becoming just a full-time coach. We opened Byron Boxing 22nd of July 2023.
Truly, it seems like you've been established in this space for a really long time.
And
It's the setup you've got there is honestly one of the best. And we've been in and out of so many different gyms and dojos and so on. My husband into all the things. He was really excited when he saw this new boxing place that was so close to home. And when we visited, that was it. He was sold. He just absolutely loves the space and loved you and the way you roll.
oh man, super grateful. I like to think I'm a sponge. I'm forever a student. When I worked in the tunnels and I really, really hated it, but I still wanted to be the best at it. I guess that just comes with my integrity and who I am and how I was raised. When I got into the boxing space, and the old owner would say it, that I'd be the first one there in the morning and I'd have no PTs. I might have a few classes and I'd just sit around and watch everyone else and just learn and talk, and then I'd be like the last one to leave. I got to learn off some of the best in boxing, in personal training. I'm super blessed. Mike Legg, he owned Boxing Alley, and Monty Beefman was there, and Daniela Smith, ex-women's world champion, she was there too. Just a wicked, wicked bunch of coaches and trainers that I was like, again, blessed to be amongst them. But I took full advantage of my opportunities. Yeah, even though like I only just opened my first gym, I've been doing my apprenticeship the whole time. I've had mates open up their gyms, and I was like founding trainer or help with programming, and just got to see like the little in and outs of what a gym owner consisted of. More so, it was just around building a community. Any business really is just a community, right? And building the right culture. And
Absolutely.
that's ultimately what I was doing, was building the knowledge and having the credentials, but above all else, being able to build a community and yeah, and build that solid culture.
You've definitely achieved that.
I
I have
appreciate
to
it.
say, our son loves it there. Like, that's the
He's,
measure for me. He feels safe, where he feels comfortable to bring his whole self. And he absolutely loves his time there on a Saturday morning. Not just because he's with dad. I think he really adores you. He really adores the space. He knows he's safe there.
man, he's a beautiful boy. And
Oh,
we got our
thank
own
you.
handshake. We got our own handshake, and
I've seen it. Yeah.
yeah, and the kids are so innocent, right? I feel like as adults we forget the innocence, you know, like that's what we need to remind ourselves to also still be kids.
Totally. Yes.
Like, you know, like when Isaac comes in, man, we do our handshake. I'll make sure he does the handshake. He's not allowed to miss the handshake, because you know, it's not just for him, it's for me. He's just as much my teacher and coach as I may be his. Because the lessons that I take from him, to be grateful, to smile, knowing part of your guy's story and knowing how much he's been through at such a young age, man,
Yes.
he's a much it makes me emotional, but
Me
he's
too.
a much he's a much better fighter than me, and I ever will be. And that's the yeah,
Well, thank
that's
you, brother. Those are really
nah, it's
kind
all good.
words. He's absolutely our teacher. Like we've had to strip ourselves right back to basics and, rewire how we do things and what we prioritize in this life. That's what you learn. You've been through your challenges. I'm going to cry now. Thank you.
Sorry, my
But,
bad.
you've been through your challenges. If it's not cancer, it's going through life challenges that you did as a youngster, where you had to figure out in a really hard way that you needed to make changes and eventually figure out that you need to prioritize yourself and have some childlike innocence. There's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I think that's the thing that's gone wrong the most in this world. To be adult is to lose that. Who wants to be an adult if that's what it is,
Yeah.
It comes through very much anytime people take a chance doing things in your own way is actually quite challenging and quite difficult. You've just got to take that chance and a bit of that childlike wonder and innocence and go for it. You're actually my first male guest, which is crazy.
Mhm.
I'm quite a few episodes deep. It is a really neat community that you've established here. That's kind of the crux of any business. If you can get that community stuff right, the rest comes. I just wondered if you had any words of wisdom or anything that you'd like to impart to, someone who might be in, 17-year-old Few's shoes right now. What would be your message to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. The biggest one is man, to never give up, eh? And as cliche as that sounds, there were so many times I gave up, and I was just in a very blessed position where I had my dad who never gave up on me.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, I'm doing what I do now, and what I do now, man, I couldn't even have dreamed of. And that's the honest truth. To be a business owner, man, to have a gym, I honestly I had to pinch myself every day. I'm truly humbled. But if I gave up, this wouldn't have all happened. This wouldn't have all been possible. If you can't do it alone, I used to think I could do it all alone. I used to think I knew it all. Let me take the pain. Let me do all the hard things by myself. You mess up enough times on your own, you realize that maybe you got to do something a bit different, and maybe you got to ask for help. Something I still struggle with, but
Hmm.
definitely to never give up and to have strong people around you and to let them help. I like to think that we're all here on earth to make someone else's life better. That no matter who you are, no matter what walk of life you come from, we won't be here forever. And what we leave behind is gonna be our legacy, right? And I'm trying to do all I can so I can have a positive impact on as many as I can because that's my purpose here on earth. Obviously, boxing is my vehicle, but that's just the front door. I think the biggest one are these chats, these
Hmm.
deep and meaningful conversations. The biggest battle I fight every single day is between my ears, and
Yes.
and
Same.
and I think yeah, and just some of us rather not confront that. Life's really really hard. It's not easy.
Everybody's doing it tough right now. Just living, just getting by is a struggle. So, these connections, these conversations, being real about things and sharing and community, they're all massive right now to help people
Mm,
just, get through life. Exercise is incredibly important to finding that, bit of inner peace and just taking a little bit of that struggle away and putting it into something healthy for you. Brother, you're doing it. Like that gym is a absolute beacon in our
I
community as a
appreciate it.
place, for people to feel safe and to find camaraderie and belonging, and a sense of self-worth. So thank you for everything that you do.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on, and just thank you for you guys investing time in me and the community that we have.
No, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today and sharing. Like Some pretty big things you've shared with us.
Oh,
Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
Faafiu. And I'll get my butt back to your gym soon.
See you tomorrow.
For more information about today's guest and the topic we discussed, check the description box for this episode. Join us again soon for more extraordinary stories from everyday people, shining the light of hope for others to follow.